There we are. Welcome everybody to town hall meeting number 68. It's October 3rd, 2023. And today we're joined by Judith, Tavo, Curtis, William, Kenichi, Tommy, Roho, Walter, Michael, Mikasa, and Fly. Thank you all very much for joining in. Met a little outline for today's call, starting off with the Workgroups updates, and after that a couple of mentions, to share around. And after that, there's some room for open topics. Pretty basic outline, but it's efficient, so we'll keep using it for now. And Stephen is hopping on. Also welcome. Before we really dive into the workgroup updates, a little reminder on the ambassador program and what we're even doing. Basically, we're a group of individuals organizing in self-organizing groups. And yeah, the broader aim is to spread the word on SingularityNet and its mission and vision. And there's all kind of different topics where you can contribute. There's all kind of, for example, video, there's a writers work group. We've got some governance boiling here and there. It's pretty broad. So if you're looking to help out, do hop onto our Discord server, and that has a getting started channel, which will help you get started. And then, without further ado, the work groups. I did see a BRB from Fly side. I'm not sure if you did return, but the incubation work group is the first on the list because it's right after this call. Are you here? Or otherwise, we'll skip it for now. We'll get back to it a bit down the list. That brings us to the archival work group, and I see we have both Vanessa and Stephen on the call. Yeah, the floor is yours. Could you give us a little update?
Do you want me to, Stephen, or shall you?
Go for it.
I mean, yeah, there's not a lot to say since last time. Our next meeting is tomorrow at, is it 1300 or 1400 UTC? Can somebody?
I have it at 13, looks like.
Yeah, okay. And the other thing, I guess, to say is that we have just published our quarterly report, so I'm going to stick that in the chat if anybody wants to know a bit more about what we're up to and what we've been doing. But yeah, anyone is welcome to come and join us tomorrow, and the link is on the calendar.
Thank you very much. Next would be the DWork PBL work group. Tavo, can I ask you for a little update?
Yeah, so last week we looked at the new version. We did some videos about that, so you can find it in meeting summaries. And right now we are synchronously waiting for sentiment analysis for the BBL work we have been doing. Well, that's quite a long, so 30 minutes. I'll drop that into a chat, so if somebody wants to check out. And we tried one with on the workgroup itself, going through this and doing it, but due to technical difficulties, Maraboard wasn't really a good tool for that. So we thought, let's do it on Google Form, let's get some asynchronous feedback, and that will then feed into our prioritization of what kind of lessons we are going to improve, what we know, what we can already kind of move to the next stage, and where we need to do something else. So it gives us a good starting point to prioritize our improvements on that. And that will happen next week, where we look at the results and then do the analysis.
Thank you. Good stuff.
I'm back. I can do incubation now if you want.
By all means, yes, please.
Cool. So incubation think tank. It'll be our third time, well, incubating the think tank format. We'll be going for like 45 minutes to an hour, kind of a soft stop at the top of the hour and the chat afterwards. If anyone has any submissions for topics which they would like, which they think are relevant or would like to discuss, we can kind of add it to the agenda. And if anyone wants to get involved in incubation tasks, there have been a few questions this past week. There are some documents which you can contribute to, feedback forms and documents which you can find in the incubation channel. Thanks. Yay.
Thank you. And yeah, indeed, looking forward. The next on the list is the strategy work group. Let's have a look. Tommy, you are definitely here.
Good day, everybody. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Hopefully you hear me okay. If there's any drilling noise in the back, I apologize. We're having some massive updates done here. Strategy is working and finalizing a conflict resolution document. I posted the commentable form in the side chat. So before tomorrow, if you would make any final comments on the conflict resolution document, we should be bringing it to a closure. And then we probably, strategy based on some listening, we're going to pivot a little bit to how do we make ambassadors more outbound looking and reaching out into the community to do one of the many things SNet ambassadors are supposedly supposed to do. So see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the list is the Treasury Guilds.
Yeah, Treasury has gone nuts since last week, so our capacity increased by 500% or even more. So we have a bunch of meetings on top of each other in different days, and we are working on analyzing the Q3 budget and then also trying to come up with some new rules and limitations and guardrails for Q4 budget. So it's still in progress. Tomorrow, Wednesday, there hopefully will be a decision around like each of the workgroup budgets and how much we are kind of allocating for the new members and all the other stuff. And that's then we are ready to. We are not going to do ambassador shutdown compared to like USA shutdown. So still stuff can go, but on the same line, we are still wanting to kind of have more clarity on like each workgroup budget, because right now with the current format we weren't able to predict how much can we like afford to spend. So it's been a nice discussion. We're gonna get some documents out of that and still some decisions to be made.
Thank you. And Walter, you've hand up.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious, what's the process for organization-wide decisions like this? You know, budgeting for the quarter, setting goals, negotiating allocations.
Well, the setting, I would say, is pretty experimental.
I'm sorry, it's what?
It's pretty experimental. There's quite a room for experimentation.
But I mean, how does it actually happen?
Well, in the current setup, the people with the ambassador role discuss and try to set the boundaries for the upcoming quarter. What can be experimented with. So, for example, during Q3, we went over, we took the approach of like asking people to put forward fund requests rather than having static allocations on budgets. And yeah, well, that's resulted in part of the reason why we did that was to maximize the budget usage, which happened, and a bit more as well. So for Q4, we'll kind of combine that approach with static budgets. So it's going to be a mix of both.
So once somehow a suggestion is made how to make those, how do folks make it official?
Right now we are having like meetings. All of these are public meetings where we bring our ideations together and we are forming like rule set. For now, I will say I've been doing these meeting notes on Motherboard, but once it's all kind of agreed to, we will turn it into document and then put it also on Gitbook under Treasury Management section.
No, I mean, not how you write down the rules once you decide them. How do you actually perform governance on your rule setting?
I think it's happening in. Sorry, go for it.
Yeah, like
the meetings is talk. I'm talking governance. How do you reach a binding agreement and record it for posterity? I mean, just your basic governance work. How do you do it? Because like I've been trying to understand how this organization is put together. I'm still curious.
Yeah, we basically just come together in as many different time zones and places to discuss what was discussed in last meeting, bring in the decisions, see if everybody agree, and kind of try to compromise until we all feel like this is a good way to go. It's a bit.
In other words, it's a negotiation without governance. Are votes recorded? Is there voting? Are votes recorded?
No, I would say consent is more accurate.
So in other words, externally, we don't actually know what happened. I mean, who was present, whether they actually, who proposed it, who seconded the motion. I mean, like, I'm just surprised that you make major decisions about the whole organization. Maybe it's not a smoke-filled room, but me personally, I have no idea where the money is going and where it is going to be going. And I don't think that's good.
Well, these sessions are open to join. So theoretically, you could have joined. There's a session tomorrow.
So in other words, if I couldn't make that time slot, that's it. Somebody joins the organization tomorrow and you're saying, oops, you weren't there. You don't get to know how this decision was actually made. Who was actually there, who actually voted for it. I mean, this is not how governance is done.
Well, I'm also trying to say that it's not how it goes. So yeah, I agree there. Basically, these sessions, we find consent.
But I mean, this is budget for the group. An individual group cannot decide for the entire organization. I mean, that's pretty obvious. Well, when does the organization get to hear about it and vote on it?
Usually, every call we have almost half of the ambassadors appearing, so we do have quite a wide scope. And it's not like we come to one meeting to grind down like a specific position to make a vote. Like what we are doing is we are exploring alternative methods. We then kind of get some kind of idea, what are we directing to? And through these different meetings, we still haven't actually agreed to the final output. We just kind of know that we want to split down the budgeting, we want to differentiate them, but we don't know the exact numbers yet. And most of the time we have been spending is looking at the Q3 results and using that insight to give us some kind of ideas how to do it.
Are you looking for any sort of community input? Like I said, I'm very representative of interested, engaged community who is not an ambassador title holder. I have no idea what you folks are doing. I don't know, have you succeeded in Q3? Are we going to do better in Q4?
Yeah, well, I'm sharing meeting notes, I'm sharing meeting
Yeah, I just
summaries,
gone
I'm sharing
through them.
videos, and if you don't join like all the calls and you're not able to, there is Treasury Cool channel where we also can discuss.
Well, this is what the expression, the cynical expression, smoke-filled rooms is all about, is that the decisions for a country are made by few people, and maybe you're invited and maybe you're not, but the point is, how do we know if it's done well, and how do we understand the impact? I mean, this is crucial to the organization. I think it needs, isn't transparency like #1 goal of this organization?
Well, I'm also going to strongly suggest or go against the suggestion that it's not happening in a transparent way, because I feel it
Okay,
is.
I haven't seen it. You have one sample point right here that it's not transparent. Anybody who was not in that meeting who will say it is transparent? Anybody present here who was not in yesterday's Treasury meeting who thinks it's transparent?
I mean,
It's transparent to you folks engaged going to the meeting,
well,
but
it's
it
open
needs to
meetings. They're
go
in
outside the group.
well, they are public meetings. They are in the public calendar.
No, you
Meetings.
misunderstand the
Walter,
point.
I was somebody who wasn't in that meeting, and I think it's pretty transparent.
Okay,
I was
how
in,
did we do
I
in
was in one of,
Q3?
sorry, let me finish. I was in one of the other meetings, but I wasn't in yesterday's. And I think there is enough documentation to be able to find out what happened. There's discussion in other work groups about financial issues. There's summaries given of the meetings. So I think you can find out. And I think if you have something you think that's really not good, I don't agree with that, you could post it in the relevant Discord channel and it would be picked up. So
Okay, question. What was the overrun in Q3 by group?
sorry, say again. Were you asking me?
Yeah, you're
What-
saying transparent.
Mhm.
How did we do in Q3? Which
If
of the
I
groups
can-
went over their budget?
I don't know if this is really the place to kind of sort of unpick.
Why not?
what's
This
already
is a
been
town
discussed.
hall versus where community-wide questions get asked.
I guess because it's already there and it's already been discussed, there's a dashboard you can look at and all sorts. And also my one opinion about whether we succeeded or not is not really the thing, because a lot of the funding decisions and the financial decisions, it's kind of an experimental process, and it's not about, oh, did we succeed? It's about what did we learn? That's what I feel anyway.
Fly, if you
Okay.
if it's on the same topic, Fly, go for it.
Yeah, I think you raise great questions, Walter, and it's something that the program in a way has to shift. It's been quite an organic, slow process to onboard engaged people and for them to kind of for the collective of core engaged people to be like slowly growing, which it is. And I think there definitely needs to be kind of procedural shifts that make it kind of more transparent. I mean, I see what you mean. It was signaled to me the other day that from one of the meeting summaries of that Treasury meeting, that it did seem like the with one point that there was a role being taken away rather than like these rewards being given for that role. So I know there was already kind of confusion from the community members already on that. So I think it signals to us like, yeah, how can we be more transparent, and I know there are notes taken, but perhaps especially when it comes to these decisions, it needs to be on paper and a bit accessible. I understand on some level the information is in Miro or on the video, but for someone who just wants to go directly to the information, it's not very accessible, really.
Thank you. Stephen, assuming it's on the same topic.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just unmuting. Yeah, I mean, you raised some relevant and pertinent issues, Walter, and I'm not part of the ambassadors anymore, and I raised some similar issues. I posted it in chat on budget considerations about transparency at where our work group budget was reviewed, and I do have criticisms. I think it's a work in progress, and there are some obvious needs that we do. We need a kind of a much more transparent dashboard. We need better communication and perhaps some kind of more considered decision making. But this is all, as Peter says, experimental. We have to be critical, but I think we should be constructively critical as well, and look forward to how we can build systems that will work towards that.
Thank you. Walter, I see you have your hand up still.
Yeah, so I think there is an implication that this is somehow not constructive. This is not even criticism. I'm making a request that the statement that #1 goal is accessibility and transparency, the organization actually lives up to. Saying, okay, you have to go to some IRA, that's not accessible. You have to, there is some dashboard, that's not accessible. It's I've ran corporations before, on the board level of nonprofits with 8-digit budgets. I can tell you that you guys haven't done your homework informing the community of what's going on. Maybe you've done it to your satisfaction, but based on my hands-on experiences with much larger and much more involved organizations, you are not communicating the state of the finances, and you are not taking community input for how the fact that it's experimentation puts more burden on you to be more open and solicit more input, not less. Experimentation cannot be an excuse for doing a questionable job of it. So my question is, okay, what's the next step? How are you going to fix it?
Good question, and that is in progress. The dashboard, whether you like it or not, I think it's a great tool, and it is transparency to me. But that's still under development, and we spent quite some funds on that to keep developing that and making it more informative and more complete. Just a short reaction there, Judith.
Yeah, Walter, I think it's really valuable that you have so much experience. I was wondering if you could point us towards some specific things how we could improve accessibility and transparency. What would you like to see from us specifically?
So what would be useful is typically how it's done. When budget people present to the board, they say, here was the a spreadsheet, here is the plan, here is the actuals, percentage overruns, the reasons for the overruns, mitigations, was the budget insufficient or was the spending excessive? Apply some analytical tools to it. Very simple, a little subtraction and multiplication here. And then people can say, okay, I agree, we've done this and that. But overall, I think the organization needs a structure where decisions are made, not.
And for you, what would be the most convenient way of accessing that information? Like in an ideal world, like how could we do it perfectly?
Not ideal world. What's in industry practice in all of accounting or spreadsheets, and so summary spreadsheet run up for whatever reporting period of the budgets versus actuals is how you do it. I don't know that there is an alternative. And that kicks off a discussion of the differences. If you underspent, overspent, did we have an error in estimating the budget upfront, or did we spend more? Was it justified? How we do it in the future? I mean, this is all, how should I say, this is very basic stuff. I don't even know that there is any other way that people do this.
But it is also happening. I do want to point that out. Sorry, head off, go for it.
You know, sometimes when we get involved in an industry, in a position, we lose our visibility and our questioning. And I think Walter is bringing up some very, very valid questions on transparency and where the information is. And as new people come in, you know, we've been here a little longer. We have history. We've lived it. We've explored it. He's asked some very pointed question, and he's offered some constructive critiques and ways of improving things. So the first thing I would ask, because maybe everybody doesn't know this, could we post a link to the accounting interface, or whatever you want to call it, in the chat so everybody can take a look at that? We also have, if someone could post a link to DWork, and we can have everybody go in and see the transparency of the DWork system. There's also a budget conversation that was started in Discord in the forum that explains some of the over budgeting and overspending. And I don't want to say over budgeting, because we actually didn't have a budget for the third quarter. And that was part of the experiment, is let everybody create fund requests. And if you didn't have the history on that, you might not understand it. But we are working towards transparency. We fuck up occasionally, and that is an effective verb, noun, and expletive. And we need people like Walter to hold our feet to the fire and ask the tough questions that we may not want to face. And if one person thinks that we're not being transparent enough, it means other people are thinking it. So I thank Walter, strongly thank Walter, for raising the question. And he suggested a few things. Though this is a decentralized organization, and we're trying to get more decentralized, and there's no definition really, and other people will argue that with me. But the last question he asked is, what's next? So I think it's, Walter, attend one of the Treasury meetings. Everybody else, attend the Treasury meetings. Look at the link, which hopefully goes up. And if we're not being transparent enough, call us out on it again and again. Thank you.
Thank you. And I do agree. You may have come across a bit defensive if I feel like something is transparent and then it gets called out for not being transparent. But yeah, you're fully right. If that's the perception, then for sure there's multiple people having that same perception. So yeah. Any further comments for now?
Folks, I'd like to thank you for your time. I apologize if I got worked up. At a very, very basic level, there is more people that can help. We bring a lot of experience. Some of us bring a lot of business and administrative experience. The more we know, the better suggestions we can have for you. It's not just that we're trying to create extra work for you. We may actually be able to help. And yes, I will do my darnest to attend meetings from now on.
All right.
It's tough on that California timeline, I understand.
Well, that in itself is something to consider as well, right? I mean, most of our meetings tend to be relatively UTC centric, to put it like that. I mean, it's a different topic, but it's also related. All right. Yeah, I think in light of time for now, we should continue with the agenda for a bit. See at the end if there's still some more open space. At the same time, yeah, happy to give space to conversation like this, because it's just, yeah, too important to skip on.
Yeah, maybe just to pick up on that, like to have an Eastern town hall or some other time zone, in addition. I mean, is that feasible?
I mean, to me, that feels like, how would we know without trying? We can ask for, would you have joined if there was a, let's say, 10 a.m. UTC kind of meeting? But without actually doing it, you don't know who actually shows up. So, but happy to experiment there, I feel.
Yeah, maybe it's something to take up in the think tank.
Yeah, it's cool. All right. Yeah, then let's continue with the work group updates for now. And this makes me wonder if I clicked through the slide too quickly or if we covered the whole list. We did. That brings us to onboarding work group. Is Sugar in the house? No, and I think she may have asked you, Vanessa, to give a little update on her behalf or on your shared behalf, maybe.
Oh, bugger, I'm getting caught on the hop all through this meeting. In our last meeting, we finalized, well, actually before our last meeting, we finalized the content of the Getting Started channel and put that up. We had an onboarding session for new people a while ago, and some things that it made us think is that we need to kind of follow it up with making sure that onboarding is kind of grounded in the whole organization. So we're looking at how we might help support that and what we can do to help each different work group to think about how it onboards and to share ideas with everybody else and kind of collate it all. And then we've also, funnily enough, started having conversations about how we reward tasks in the onboarding work group and how we fund things. And out of that, we kind of hopped into one of the treasury meetings, and it's an interesting process to think about, say, for example, what each different work group means by facilitating a meeting and what tasks are involved in that. So that's just quite an interesting thing that I think would be good to talk about more widely. And that's about it.
I fully agree with that last portion, yes. Thank you very much. And sorry for putting you on the spot like that. Then next up would be the AI sandbox. Fly.
Yeah. AI Sandbox was last week. It will also happen next week. It was a fun little session. We played around with God, what's the name of that tool? We played around with some knowledge graph tools and posted them. We looked at a bit of ambassador program information and went put we put a few documents through the kind of visualizer to visualize the information. It was quite cool. And yeah, it was very fun. Tune in next week. And yeah, it's exciting. It's cool to play around with these things to explore their uses. So hopefully this week I'll look a bit into the applying this to the PBL group that met this Monday. So if anyone wants to join, I'll do a call out when I'm doing it. Yeah. Cool.
Thank you very much. That brings us to the writers work group. Is Kenichi in the house? Yes, he is.
Hello there. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. So, pretty short recap from last week. So since the last meeting, we've released 3 new articles. I'll be sharing the link to our most recent one in chat, so you guys can read it. You can feel free to share it with any other person you think might be interested. And also you should give it claps 1 to 50 depending on how much you like it. And also, yeah, we had our new scribbler join our first official meeting this past Friday, which was also a co-op session where we edited articles together among all the scribblers. We spoke about our focus for this next quarter, and we also thought about how we could improve the process and the workflow, and also how to increase the number of articles that goes out on a monthly basis. Since for last quarter, I think that'll be July, June, July, we released 4 articles each month, and August we went up to 6. Last month, September, we went up to 7. And yeah, so we're definitely looking forward to putting out at least 8 articles this October. And also, I've been shifting a lot of focus towards our Twitter since it got verified. We have a few people in management dealing with posting threads, replies, and also engaging content that anybody responds to. So we have engagement from Twitter, which is working in hand with our video work group. So we are tweeting and posting stuff from video work group and from the writers work group. Also, I created a Substack for the ambassador program last week, and yeah, so I think about 2 weeks ago, but finished it up last week with a new onboarding form for any new scribblers coming in, so you can have a lot of information, necessary information on them, which will just basic stuff. So we get to know more about our scribblers, and yeah, so we added the task for the defunding proposals to our DWork board, and we are going to be engaging that. That'll be our focus for the week. And also the Syncom DAO contest by our very own Edelf. We'll be announcing that tomorrow with the rules and everything for participation, so we can have more engagement on that. And yeah, 3 new people interested in joining the team, the writers work group. The test has been administered, and we are waiting for some submissions, and also some are also in review at the moment. Yes, on the experimentation with the budget allocation, we discussed it with the work group, within the work group, and we moving forward with the idea of getting a specific budget, and not necessarily our own wallet, but at least a specific budget, so we can estimate our articles going out and Twitter content and everything on that basis, so we can have more transparency and more activities within the work group itself, so technically functioning as a singular group. And also we spoke on some future considerations for improving quality of our content, and having a cap for scribblers. So for the next quarter, we're still working the numbers in accordance to the budget that we're going to be requesting for. And yeah, I'll be having an impromptu kind of like a session with the scribblers probably tomorrow or Thursday to work out the kinks before Friday. Thank you very much. That's pretty much it.
Thank you very much. And great to hear the rising amount of output. Great stuff. And there was a little chat action going on and getting the claps up. Seems to work somewhat. Nice. Cool. Thank you very much. That brings us to the video work group with, this time it's correct in the in the slide actually. Oh, sorry, Kenichi, go for it.
So yeah, I just wanted to add a bit to what I was saying the other time. So you can expect our Substack to fill a bit of the hole in the transparency you mentioned. So the point of us having a Substack is that I realized that we have a lot of information that if we just start putting out content now on our recaps, which we'll be doing now, like a monthly newsletter for all activities within the ambassador program. So that would involve all the work groups, all the summaries of all the events and all the meetings or all the workshops on a monthly basis. So instead of, we've had a long history, like Peter said, so it's pretty wrong to just start from nowhere without giving people a complete context and overview. So we'll be doing a recap session or like recap of our events from each month on our Medium page. You can stay tuned towards that. And our Substack is going to work for future events. So we're going to be putting that on Twitter so people can subscribe, and they're going to be getting steady updates on a monthly basis from all the work groups of all the guilds, the ambassador program, to give you a full overview, which would also definitely include our budget allocation and any other information that you might need moving forward. And more people can subscribe to that. And it necessarily doesn't like have a fixed information going out. We'll still be having our regular updates on our Medium after covering the recaps, but the Substack will work efficiently for people who might not be watching our Medium or our Twitter, but they can get it directly into their email and they can read up all the updates. So thanks. I just wanted to say that.
Cool. Looking forward to that. Yeah, we're not out of time yet, but I do feel a little bit pressure to let's keep going. So Roho, floor is yours for video work group.
Can I share my screen?
Yes, let me stop share, sorry.
Okay, trying to find it.
Maybe he crashed.
Yeah, it does look like we lost him for a little bit. I assume he'll reconnect shortly for another attempt. Yeah, so for now let's skip and move over to next one on the list, which is I'll share screen in a second. Education work group.
Yeah, I want to congratulate first off Roho and when he presents his numbers, and Kenichi especially. They have done fantastic jobs running these two work groups. We've gone from May, where there were absolutely zero output, to what's going on now. What is it, 6 months later, 5 months later? Fantastic job. Most of the infrastructure is inward looking. Those are two outward looking work groups. Education is working on educating ambassadors to a higher level on the different projects. The meeting we had this week was a little bit different. I was traveling, and as Vanu said, I took the red pill, which you'd have to look at Fly's AI sandbox to understand the hallucination that we did. But education is working. Join us, and we're looking at creating a segment that Roho has started working on for educating ambassadors to a higher level to be outward facing. And Kenichi did remind me that we have a think up of a new name for SingComDAO contest that is going to the end of October. And there was some stuff put out, and there's a bounty offered and other things. If Roho came back, I can stop talking.
Thanks a lot for that. And well, we can try again, I guess.
Yeah, hopefully this time I won't count. I don't have permission to share my screen.
Let me change that. You should have now. Sorry.
It doesn't happen, it's not meant to be. and you can move on. But let me try. Okay. Hopefully now. Can you see my screen?
Yes, this is way better. Yes.
Okay. All right. So welcome everyone. This is Rojo from the Video Work Group. And this is what we do. So every month we kind of get a recap of what the work group is doing, and also some general picture of like a big picture on how our social media and outreach is in terms of social media, basically. So yeah, we start with social media in numbers, and that would start with YouTube. So we had quite a decent month, let's say, for YouTube, with an increase of 70% in terms of our subscribers, views 26%, and impressions with an increase of 37%. And then we have Instagram, where we had growth, let's say decent growth with followers and views, but we did have a very steep decrease in terms of impressions. And that would be due to our new strategy with posting less on Instagram and TikTok. So you will see the same trend on TikTok as well. Because as you might not know this, but we used to post basically every day, a reel or a short video every day. We moved away from that strategy towards more of a more sustainable, let's say, strategy with the moving away from clips to videos produced fully by the work group. And as you can see, TikTok has kind of the same trend with actually the same numbers, which is quite interesting. You'd think these are fake, but somehow they're real. And you can check. Maybe I should share. I will share it after this. I will share the website where you can find all these content, where there is a nice table that shows all the numbers. And yeah, there is TikTok, and then there is X, which is our new addition for this month. So there is no track there of percentage points increase or decrease, because this is our first month even mentioning X, since this is the new strategy we're moving towards. So currently we're at 643. Okay, that's messed up. Oh, it's 643 posts, and then 1,070 followers, and then the number of views on the videos we have posted so far is 1,385. I believe we posted 5 videos so far, and those were basically summaries made by Mr. Peter. Thanks a lot for the content. And yeah, moving away. So we have produced 8 videos this month. Not as good as last month, but mainly due to clips being easier to make. So last month we had 25 videos produced, 24 of which were clips. So that's basically, but we do aim to increase this number, and hopefully we will. And yeah, in terms of new membership, we have no new members to mention, but we do have 5 people going through the application process currently. 2 are about to be accepted as members, since we have an ongoing vote between members to accept or reject. So I cannot speak of that just yet. But we do also have a new onboarding process that includes 3 steps, 2 real steps, 1 fake step. The first step is just introducing yourself. Second one, making a video about a certain topic that we provide. And then the third one is just getting you to your first meeting as a member. So therefore a fake step. But yeah. So yeah, if anyone is interested, I'll provide the link right after this presentation, and then perhaps we can you can join. There is a join the workgroup clip, and we'll take you right to the task that you need to sign up for. What's next? We do aim to improve the weekly town hall summary videos. So include the visuals, include the quality of the videos themselves. We are adding timestamps to town hall videos. That's something new that is coming in. Perhaps it will help navigating through videos. Increasing engagement on Twitter. That's one of our main focuses. I think Kenichi spoke to that. He mentioned this new task force we created with the writers work group. So we had 2 members from the video work group, 2 members from the writers work group, and we joined hands to basically just improve our engagement on Twitter. Just seeing that Twitter is becoming, or currently is, the status quo of crypto and blockchain and AI, where people really get together, and there is a lot of engagement on that front. Collaborating again with guilds and work groups. So beyond our current little partnership, I would say, with writers work group that we look forward to make even bigger and bigger, working on bigger projects. We would like to work with other guilds and work groups. For one thing that was mentioned, perhaps in the current budget that is still being discussed, there will be more of a new mechanism, let's say, going on. In my opinion, that could play with more collaboration, hopefully. At least I wish for that. So yeah, we look forward, for example, Educational Guild, we look forward to have some certain collaboration in there, making videos for them, and all sorts of other guilds and work groups. And yeah, that's about it. Keep up the good work. Thanks a lot to everyone from the work group that is maybe not here. If you're watching the video, thank you. This is all because of you. Yeah, appreciate it.
Great stuff. And also thanks to you, because quite a lot of your of the results are also through your efforts. Well done. I see Kenichi raising a hand. Go for it.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention on the analytics for Twitter. So I have a few pictures. I can definitely share them in chat. You guys can just look at them, and that would be hold on. Yes. So this first picture I'll be sending was taken on the 24th of September. I have another one that was taken on the 25th of September, and I have one that was taken yesterday. These analytics are mainly shown for like the last 7 days. But so technically we started the task force a bit like, fully operational from like the 24th, and we got almost double on our impressions and engagements. So that was really impressive. And when I checked yesterday, a bit of replies, we had a drop in replies and link clicks, media views. But we're still doing well based on engagement rates, and we'll be checking that on a weekly basis. So you should expect more data from next week. Yeah, just want to see that.
Cool. Let me try and share screen. Should be there. Yeah. Yeah. Then to conclude the list of work groups, I do want to make a call out for the very first session of the Gamers Guild, which will take place this Saturday at 14 UTC. For more details, I have to refer you to the Gamers Guild channel. But yeah, it's the very first session, so more clarity will follow there. Yeah, and just a reminder that if you don't want to miss out on any of these meetings, you can add the public calendar to your own calendar. The link is in the video description. Then looking at the clock, I will speed up a little bit on the mentions, which I do want to put out some of them. One being well, the Supervisory Council election. Applications are closed. I believe we have 2 people in the room who did apply. Is that correct? Yes. I won't put you on the spot right now, but yeah, we'll need to figure out a way of facilitating a little bit of maybe next week's town hall makes sense there. Because I don't know. In one way, I want to be neutral. At the same time, I do want to give you all the space to well, push for the good cause, of course. And I do want to call out that this Thursday there's that's a bit more neutral one. Is a session with candidates where they present themselves in. It's going to be a 2-hour session with 4 blocks of 30 minutes, and every block will have 3 candidates. Where, yeah, there will be a little space also for asking questions. I'm not entirely sure if the form URL is handy here, but I'll share it shortly. And yeah, that's happening on 16 UTC this Thursday, and we're also looking to have one on Friday, but that will be a UTC-wise a morning session to also accommodate a bit for time zones. That's looking to be 9 UTC, but that's to be confirmed still. So yeah, I did want to call that out. Well, I also wanted to call out the budget review for Q3, but I do kind of feel we touched on the topic a little bit already. So yeah, we covered that in my mind. Tomorrow at 12 UTC, there's a session, and also on Thursday, there's the Treasury Guild meeting, which likely will touch on the topic as well. That's 15:30 UTC. Then, top of mind, this is the final call out. I'm not super sure. There might be another slide. Mindplex is hosting a writers contest with, I think, prizes up to $250. So this could be interesting for the writers work group, but also anybody watching this who's interested. Yeah, to submit their articles. Mindplex does cover a whole broad range of topics. Pretty much anything futuristic goes, and it can be weird, far out there stuff as well. That's if you take a look at the magazine, you see what kind of topics are covered. And yeah, well, we're in the middle of the week of round 3 voting for deep funding, and well, so there's 2 things. First of all, there's a focus group that's hosting a feedback session on October 12th, and I believe I can give Tommy word to maybe share a little bit about it.
Yeah, briefly, because we got more stuff to go. There is a deep funding focus group, which has not been introduced to the community yet. There's 5 of us, and we will be introduced this Thursday on Town Hall. But also we will announce that next Thursday, we're going to have a listening town hall, one for proposers, one for voters, and one for the review team. We want to get your input. How can we make deep funding better? And how can we make it more decentralized? So join us, please. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, you heard it here first. I mean, it will get more coverage. And then, yeah, I intended to keep the last portion of this call open for a bit of like elevator pitch kind of style for those in the room who have active deep funding proposals. Also noting we're 5 minutes over time right now, and I do want to respect everybody's time, but I also do want to call out or give room for people to call out their own proposals. So maybe we can agree to keep it super short. If there's people in the room that do want to call out their own proposals. Walter, you have your hand up.
Very quickly. So as much as we've increased the vote on that post by 300 zillion%, but at least 10 people present here have not clicked. You know who you are, we know who you are, and so at your earliest opportunity, please, let's get this count to a gazillion.
Thanks for that. Yeah, this was not really prepared, but if I can put anybody on the spot, I happily do so. Fly.
Yeah, for sure. I just posted in the chat. Well, yeah, thanks. I just posted in the chat some proposals which are live for round 3. So yeah, I would love love to get your feedback. If you have any questions or if it sparks a discussion that you want to have, let me know. I saw some people from the community already contributed some comments, questions. So thanks so much for that. And yeah, good luck to everyone. And yeah, definitely Rojo. He's got quite a few going on, if I can call him out.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Well, I tried to onboard two of my friends actually. So one of them is working in Microsoft, and the other one is working in this, I don't know, this consulting company. I don't remember his name, but one of the big fours. And yeah, we always had this, you know, this kind of goal of doing a project together on a professional level. Let's say we tried a couple of things, didn't work. And yeah, I tried to onboard them into this community, but they're like, no, we don't have time, blah, blah, blah. And then I tried to came up with a plan to actually onboard them to do something useful, right? Also being able to contribute as well. And this came in the form of 2 proposals, and those were in the new projects. So the first one is something dear to myself and something very relevant to the video workgroup actually, which is video summaries and timestamps leveraging LLMs. As far as I'm concerned, this is quite an original idea. Something that I kind of came up with while doing some research on LLMs, which is, I guess I can explain. I don't know how much time we have, but I will try to explain it very briefly. So it's basically taking the audio from a video, extracting the audio from a video, then inputting that into a first API that will turn it into a script, feeding the script into the LLM that will basically summarize it first, and second of all, put some partition that text into subparts, and each subpart should be given a certain title, and that will give you the timestamp if you map it back to the original text, and that's how you would get timestamps. And yeah, basically we're trying to implement that and basically put it into I think it would be in total 3 APIs that we will be leveraging. I see people saying link to proposals. That will be done right after I'm done. The second one is a fact-checking solution. So we're planning to train Lambda 2 for a fact-checking solution, mainly for obvious facts, something you can Google and it will give you a clear answer, at least as a first stage kind of solution. And the way how we're trying to implement the market for that would be basically solutions like Mindplex, where people are, you know, publishing articles and this form of content. And we were thinking about trying to market this into Mindplex first as at least as a trial, and then get into further markets. And if we can gain Mindplex's, let's say, good side, that will be a really great thing. So yeah, that's basically the second project. There is a personal project. I don't know. I'm doing too much advertisement for myself, I guess. This kind of sucks. But anyway, I'm planning to do like a small lecture in my university about SingularityNet. It will be just introducing the whole ecosystem, and the second one that will have basically an implementation of an API with a very small, like a 1.5 hour kind of implementation. And yeah, sorry for making it too long for you guys.
No, that's great stuff. Thanks a lot for sharing.
For sure.
A quick look around the room. Anybody else wants to pitch their proposal, perhaps? I did see something in chat earlier coming from archive side. Sorry to put you on the spot. It's also fine.
Yeah, I can say a few words about that. We have a proposal in for I'll put maybe Vanessa can put links in chat. Readying the SNet archives for LLM. And Roger was talking about using large language models to process data. What we found in over an extended period of time is that's great, but it's also a need to prepare data, and that needs people to assist with that. So if you read the summary of our proposal, we're proposing to create a to get people involved in sort of data cleaning and tagging and classification. And we hope to incentivize that through the use of bounties. So it's kind of like fulfills two objectives: one through engagement, to get people engaged in AI tools, another two, recognizing that it's not just as simple as just applying a large language model to a meeting. You actually have to have some classification and data cleaning as well. Vanessa, I'm not sure if you want to add anything for that. I guess not.
Let's take that as a no for now. I think you covered it quite well, yes. All right, quick check. Anybody else in the room? All right. Yeah, usually this then gets to the portion of the call where we open the space for open topics, which kind of got taken by the important questions raised on transparency regarding finances. So I think I'll just do a quick check if anybody has a short thing to call out, to ask, or to mention before wrapping up. So now would be the moment to speak up.
Yeah, come to Incubation Think Tank if you want. Should be fun. Thanks.
Nice. Yeah, almost bumping into that time slot, I see. All right.
Strategic time. Strategic.
Then that concludes the town hall. Thanks a lot for joining, especially the new face.
Hang on, I think Curtis had a question.
Oh, I did not see. Sure, go for it.
Me personally, so I don't see a place or not, but I have a lot of interest in certain areas like the strategy process and incubation guilds, as well as governance and onboarding working groups, as well as participating in the council. And I'm trying to figure out how to best engage. Is there conflict with the times? And again, it's a bit more me. I don't want to interrupt the crew here.
Fair. Well, yeah, there's a whole bunch of sessions which we try to not have them overlap, at least in our own internal ecosystem. Of course, when you look a little around, it does overlap with for example, Catalyst stuff, or just the wider ecosystem. That's pretty much unavoidable to have overlaps. I think the easiest would be to take a look at the public calendar and the Discord channels. That kind of is a starting point for, well, figuring out where you want to be involved, if that makes sense.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been trying to be involved, but mainly in Discord and observing after the fact. So I want to be more engaged. Thank you.
Well, you found the town hall today, so great stuff. Okay. And also goes without saying, but feel free to ask questions in DM anytime or on any of the channels. And that does wrap up for today. Thanks all for joining. Hope to see you in either in incubation starting pretty much right now, or in one of the many other meetings this week.